maybe about 120 degrees heat-wise. And the Battle of Peleliu was 100, almost 25 degrees, which is almost impossible to function in. The humidity would be like 100 or 102% humidity. That means my gear would not work well if I had wool. I'm wearing like a herringbone twill type of uniform. I'm wearing gaiters or leggings, all right? And this type of uniform would be okay, but by the end of the day, I would be completely wet from sweat. I'd be dripping wet, all right? In the jungle, there was a Japanese soldier, which was an incredible soldier. He had been fighting since 1932, all right? And he was been fighting in China. He was been fighting in 1938. In 41, that when we started, he was a seasoned veteran. He was a master at camouflage, master at night fighting, the Japanese soldiers. I'm portraying my uncle. It was my Uncle Bud. He fought in the 27th Division. He was a staff sergeant. How do you know that what my rank is? Any idea? Because I told you my rank. I have no rank on my shoulders, no identification on my helmet or my hat. If I was to do so, a Japanese sniper at a tree or in a spider hole dug in would see that and know that I'm an important person that would shoot me. The worst thing that would happen if you came up, if you were an officer and I saluted you, why would it be a bad thing if I saluted you?
There's no rank.
Oh yeah, I just told the Japanese soldier that he's an officer, so they would shoot him and kill him.
No rank.
In the fighting in the jungle,
rank
like I
on his
said,
uniform.
just imagine, it is very thick, and there's parts in the jungle where during the daytime it's so dark it looks like nighttime because of all the vegetation in the canopy. All right, constantly raining. As I said, my uniform would probably be rotting off of me. I'd be full of all sorts of sores and ulcers. One disease that you would get is malaria. Does anybody know where malaria comes from? Mosquitoes. One little mosquito bite would take me out of combat. All right, I would become very sick. Imagine if you had the flu, how you get the shakes, and you're overheated, and it is 10 times worse with malaria. Malaria came back to soldiers maybe 10 years after the war. They got malaria. So there's all sorts of ickies and buggies and all sorts of crawly things and snakes and stuff. It's not really good in the jungle. If I get cut, there's a good chance that that cut will be infected in a matter of hours. Alrighty. If I am wounded, alright, if I'm not taken care of, I will be infected and I will be very, very sick through that. Now I'm carrying 2 canteens for water. There's times that I am not going to be able to get water, that I am going to have to use water from a creek, a river, or maybe even a swamp. And if that happens, I will need tablets called Atropine tablets. Alright? And these tablets I will put in my canteen, wait for about an hour or so, and it'll purify it. The problem with Atropine tablets, by taking them so often, that my skin is going to turn yellow. You can tell a soldier by if they've been in the tropicals and the tropics, you know, their skin will turn yellow. That's one of the side effects of Atropine tablets. So
That's
on
only
my
for
person
them.
that I'm wearing,
Would they turn yellow from the tablet?
I am wearing a web belt, which is called a battle harness. I have cartridges, all right, and here I'll have
Cartridges?
my cartridge for my
Civil War soldier
When I
didn't have
first started,
cartridges.
we were using World War I weapons, which this Marine has is a bolt action rifle, maybe
A
20
bolt
rounds a minute.
action
All right,
rifle.
that I can do with 7 rounds. Later
7
on,
rounds.
they were issued a gun called
7
Evelyn
rounds.
Duran, which is
7
a
rounds. We can shoot
semi-automatic
7
weapon.
rounds.
Alrighty, and I can maybe get to 40 rounds a minute by firing that. In my cartridge belt, I would be taking out this clip of 8 rounds. These are empties. There is no bullets in there. I'd be pulling it back. I'd insert it here, ram it home, and I'd fire 8 shots. Now, the disadvantage of this rifle is the Japanese were quite adaptable to this, that when I fired, the clip would be ejected and what does that tell the enemy?
That you're reloading.
And what do you think the enemy's going to do?
Shoot you.
And come after me. Alright? The Japanese soldiers, what would be considered something like a fanatic. They were so dedicated to their government and to the emperor. The emperor was like a president. and they thought the emperor was God, to surrender. How many of you know samurais, or what a samurai is? Was a samurai ever surrender? No. A samurai would end his life. Either take his own life or by honorably in combat. Now, there's something called a banzai charge. Does anybody know what banzai means? Or a banzai charge? What's a banzai charge?
Well, when somebody a knife goes up to a person's.
Imagine this. The Japanese are in a position where they can't win. They won't surrender because it's dishonorable. They would dishonor their family, they would dishonor the emperor, and they would dishonor their country by doing that. So what they would do is get together and have a banzai charge. And they would come at you, usually at night. And the Japanese soldiers were probably the best night fighters at the time. And they'd become screaming, they go, Banzai! Banzai! Yankee, you die! Now, I don't know about you, but that's
So
sending the
that was
goosebumps and hair right on the back of my
We fought
neck.
at night.
And they would come
They didn't.
after you.
They didn't.
Alrighty? So,
These
I
ones
would
fight
have
in the
another soldier
evening.
right behind
Mr.
me.
Knowles was saying
With-
that they
while
only
I'm
fought in the daytime.